Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello, or welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 4, Episode 42. We're on the back of the final Premier League weekend. Not much has happened, really, to be fair, since we last filmed. No one's leaving. Nothing's really changed, to be honest. Looking forward to next season. It's going to be absolutely fine, isn't it? Unless I missed something. What's happened? No?
As far as I'm concerned, mate, pretty much the same, isn't it? I mean,
I'm joined by Ryan and Maz, probably for the first time this season. It's all three of us together. Shout out to everyone that's helped out and jumped in when we've been busy or just can't do the podcast for whatever reason. But I'll start with you, Ryan, because you got to go to the game. De Zerbi's last game, of course. I'm not going to continue that shit joke. De Zerbi's leaving. What was it like, Ryan?
You look emotional, mate. It's because I am. I was, certainly. Yeah, very... I tell you what, that speech got me, mate. It really did. I think it got the majority of the Amex. It really did. He did milk it a bit, to be fair to him. The stops, sort of every other sentence was quite funny. I was thinking,
yeah, then expecting the applause. Wasn't
yeah, waiting for the applause.
You would say something quite minor and then wait for the applause. And was like,
yeah, but no, it was very sad. I've forgotten about the game, to be honest. It was one of them where I think the politics of the club took over. I don't think many people really cared about what was going on the pitch. Yeah, obviously not the only one to depart, was it? Obviously Adam Lallana, final game for us. So hinted he'll be back, didn't he, in a coaching manner? But, you know, sad, but Roberto's put
future Brighton manager, maybe.
One. That's a big one. Not going to get into that, PR reasons at all, but no, I'm joking. No, we'll see, though. It's a very upsetting, I think, 24 hours. Well, it's 48 hours now since Saturday afternoon when we all found out, really.
And Maz, what are your general emotions? I don't know, what was your reaction when you found out Zerbi was leaving? Because on Wednesday, I think we were aware that they were having a meeting. And then apparently Zerbi in one of his interviews was saying about how it seems like, he's looking forward to next season. And then literally less than 24 hours later, he's left. It was it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, so I was out in Saudi for the fight, Usyk Fury, and I was getting messages going, Maz, have you seen the news? Have you seen the news? I was like, no, I don't. Like, what you talk about? Got loads of like WhatsApp messages. And they're like, yeah, De Zerbi's leaving, and I was like, what? And then literally, I checked like breaking news, Romano, all that usual stuff. And yeah, like my initial reaction was obviously, look, let's not get away from it. It is annoying. It is upsetting. It is annoying as a Brighton fan, because the way I looked at it, I thought Roberto De Zerbi was here for a project. I thought he was here, for the long haul. I thought he was going to at least see us through another season at the very minimum. But like you said, we were aware of the talks the day before with Tony Bloom, and he has been pretty vocal for the last 3 months in terms of whenever he's had any kind of displeasure, he's always been vocal about it. So I think there was, when I say I wasn't shocked when I heard it, I was like, it was a shock, but it wasn't a big of a shock if he hadn't have come out in the previous months saying what he had in certain press conferences.
Yeah, Ian Wright said that he feels like De Zerbi's been sulking for like the past 4 months. And I kind of now, it does seem that way a little bit. I don't know if it's unfair to say.
I'm not sure, maybe not sulking, but he's definitely been voicing his displeasures at certain aspects of the club. And in my opinion, I think what happened in that meeting was probably De Zerbi wanted to spend the allocated money that we got from the likes of McAllister, Caicedo. I could be well off it. This is just my theory. I think he probably wanted to spend quite a lot of that money and reinforce his squad. And maybe Tony Bloom was like, well, let's not go all out and, spend 100 million or 200, 150 million, whatever it is. And maybe De Zerbi took, because in his statement, he says something, and sorry if I misquoted, but something about, I'm leaving the club because our visions, where our visions align, or something along those lines. It was something to do with that, and he was like, where we're both happy, basically, going forward. So it was a bit cryptic, and there was a few bits in there where I was like, oh, okay, maybe there was some kind of disagreement when it came to the meeting, and then they decided to go their separate ways. But then he got really emotional in the when he was giving his speech. Even he said that I wish I could have stayed. So I don't know.
He didn't want to leave, really.
Yeah, it's a lot of mixed messages. I don't really know what to believe. I don't know what's actually gone down. I don't think until they either Bloom or De Zerbi come out and say this is exactly what happened. I don't know if we're ever going to know, to be honest.
Yeah. the police are coming after Maz apparently. That's why he's muted himself. But I mean, Ryan might be able to tell us a bit more. But I probably agree with your theory, Maz, of like obviously they've had maybe a disagreement about the transfer strategy. But De Zerbi doesn't really have a leg to stand on when you look at the players he's brought into the club. They've pretty much all failed. So if he wants more power in the transfers, De Zerbi.
And a lot of clubs don't work like
shouldn't-
that anymore, do they? Like in
No.
terms of having a manager, even Klopp, I think at FSG, he wasn't really involved in that. There was basically now I feel like there's a hierarchy at football clubs where a lot of the deals are done by like a Paul Barber and a Tony Bloom, and obviously like the head of scouting, and then the managers
You've got a
have
head coach
some kind
instead of a manager.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to say, from my experience of when I found out the news, it was pretty rough. I was at a baby shower. It was me and another bloke. He self-admitted classic Man United fan, so didn't really know too much about football. Well, there was another bloke, to be fair, but he was the baby inside the stomach, so I couldn't really talk to him, unfortunately. But it was
Probably
a
would have given
rough.
a better input, wouldn't he, than half the
Yeah, he
Man
would
United fans putting on the accent.
Very good. That's very good. But yeah, it was rough. I was like, I really have no one to talk to this about. I was getting so many messages being like, Ben, I can't believe it, or like just people laughing at me basically, and it was horrendous. And then having to clear away the baby shower. Anyway, it wasn't a great afternoon. Haven't really had too much time to process it. And then I was out afterwards, and then horrendous on the Sunday. Worked on the Sunday as well, and then been working today. So I haven't really processed it until now. It's just a bit of a mad one to deep it, and we'll get onto like the people that we're linked with afterwards. But Ryan, obviously, I want to get your opinion as well. Like, what were you doing? Where were you when it happened? It's a bit like 9/11. Where were you when it happened?
Brighton Seafront, really
This is
ironically.
Brighton's 9/11.
Yeah,
Brighton Seafront, and I was walking down, and the only way I found out was media release, and I saw it, and I thought, oh my god, you see the email, you're like, oh my god, and then all of a sudden, as Maz says, texts are coming in, everyone's tagging you, and you're thinking, oh god, what's going on now? And it was real. It was real. I saw De Zerbi 24 hours before it happened. And there was nothing, and I repeat, nothing. And this is coming from everyone in the media. This isn't just me. Anyone that says that they knew is lying. I'm telling you that right now, if they're media related. Because all of us in that room did not come out of that room thinking he's gone tomorrow. None of us. He gave a little bit, he was a little bit reserved. He was a bit conservative when we asked the questions. I think it was Andy, so I'll give credit to Andy for asking the questions. But again, you didn't say, he's gone. It was more of a, he's edgy. But there was no indication. And that's what shocked me, because it wasn't so much as Maz says, there has been the back and forth, hasn't there, with transfers and the selling best players and investing in new players. But I didn't think that, it was actually going to happen now. I thought if it was going to happen, we would have probably found out a while ago. Whether form has anything to do with it or not, I don't know. But the way I look at it is, look, I chose a very good day to do the press that day, because it's my first press day for a match day. So it was a good day to pick. That was decided before De Zerbi obviously left. So that was a very strange one, a very strange coincidence.
What was
that? Oh, sorry, just quickly. What was that press conference like of the day of the Man United game?
Sad, really sad, because he was really sad. Enrico was really sad. Barber was obviously stone cold, businessman, don't care, moving on to the next thing, you can tell, right? And I get that, right? That's what he's there to do. He's here to reassure us that there is a plan, there's something, there's a reason why he's done this decision. So I'd rather Barber be stone cold than upset, otherwise I'd be thinking, right, we're in the mud.
Yeah,
but
very good point.
But De Zerbi on the other hand, you could tell, I think maybe it was a bit of a mutual decision, but maybe a little bit 60-40 on our side, maybe, just judging off the reactions of
it does seem like it was more Bloom's decision in a weird way. I feel like he's probably just went maybe stone cold. It's just a bit like, well, if we don't agree, then on to the next.
But then
one.
in fairness, I guess that's with everything, isn't it?
You can't change our strategy.
If someone's speculating that long and saying they're not committed yet, you've got to get to a point where you say, look, it's judgment day. You've got to tell me whether you're in or out. And if you're still saying I don't know, you got to say, well, I can't keep you then. So
do you think Bloom said, right, let's have like a crisis meeting, or let's have a last minute meeting here on X day, the day, so that if you do want to leave, you can leave in front of the fans? So normally this sort of thing would happen after the end of the season. Look, let's remember, after we survived under Chris Hughton, next day
Hughton should have had that.
We didn't even get to say goodbye to him really, or give him the respect that he deserves. But do you reckon maybe Bloom said, like, here's your opportunity, if you do want to go, let's have this chat?
Possibly. I mean, there was always a meeting scheduled, I think, for the end of the season, because I think Roberto hinted at it quite a lot. He said there was one when Andy released it, and then there was one just before that as well, sort of beginning of the end of the season, if you like, so sort of a couple months ago. So I think there's been about 3 or 4 meetings. There's obviously been a lot of other dialogue, but I guess that one was a decisive one. I think there was more than just the transfer thing. I guess there's the big thing about De Zerbi was he was pushy, but not only with the transfers, he was pushy with everything. So I think it was one of them where, maybe the club didn't like that as much. Was he too pushy? Was he maybe pushing it and being a bit delusional? I don't know. I can't speak about that. All we can do is speculate.
Yeah.
But what we can say, and what I can say, is De Zerbi left with a good... he's left in a good way. We haven't lost him, and everyone doesn't like him. Exactly.
Exit. Yeah. Which is probably maybe Tony Bloom might have thought it could have got to the point where you've got that person that's really, really powerful. The fans absolutely adore him, and could potentially overthrow like.
Well, look
decisions.
at Potter, and I know Potter left in a completely different manner. He got bought out, but he then left and then sort of looked back on us and had his nose up to us, didn't he? And it was almost like who do you think you are? Whereas De Zerbi's left, been gracious, came to the fans. He gave me 2 hugs, which was mind blowing in itself. And he appreciates it. Wasn't just me; it was everyone. He went round and everyone said their goodbyes, and it wasn't just staff, it wasn't just players, it was media, it was everyone. And that's what I would always take my hat off and thank De Zerbi for myself in how great he was around with everybody. It doesn't matter whether it's me or whether it's
Ryan?
Paul Barber.
Sometimes
I wonder why I'm so serious on this podcast.
Pure Packer-Rabanne. Packer-Rabanne Invictus for sure.
He's all Dior Sauvage, 100%.
Yeah.
More
We're
like
bringing it back
cigarettes.
to Seagulls Social right there. It's good. It's the balance that we have on this podcast is great.
No, it's good.
Exactly. We've got the expert analysis from Ryan and the banter from the boys. Just quickly,
Bring me back down to earth.
Just quickly, I did want to just a quote I alluded to earlier. Roberto De Zerbi, I'm very sad to leave Brighton, but I'm very proud of what the players and the staff have achieved. We agreed at the end of my time at Brighton, so the club and I can continue to work in ways that suits each of us the best, following our own ideas and visions, as well as our work and human values. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is, that to me, that line there, the fact he mentions, so we can go, which suits the best of us, ourselves. I think that to me shows there was some kind of disagreement in terms of alignment between the club and his vision of what he wanted, and probably the club was like, well, no, we can't give you that, so if you can't take that, then you're gonna have to leave. So for me, that statement sort of spoke a lot, I think, in terms of what actually went down. But like I say, we're never going to know exactly what went down unless one of them come out and say it.
I think Barber's been quite brief, because Barber did a press after De Zerbi did, and I say he was quite stone cold, but he was quite respectful in the way of, we didn't want to go into too many things. He just said, look, I think it's right that Brighton fans know that there's been a disagreement. He said, but it's not right to then say he said this, she, then it gets too complicated and it gets nowhere. And I get that. There's no need to go into what was the disagreement, because that's when De Zerbi could fire back and Paul could fire back, and then all of a sudden you got club versus De Zerbi, and then everyone turns on him. So I guess they've done it well in terms of saying that your vision, my vision, you want this, we want this. I think the way that Brighton are, we like to build gradually, don't we? We had a lot of opportunities in the Championship where we could have spent a bit more money and got promoted, but we didn't, and we built and then we built and then we built and then we were ready. Realistically, we could have got promoted in 2012-13 season, if you remember, with Lopez and Orlandi and Joa. There was such a good team we had, but we didn't pull that extra trigger, did we? So it's the same here again,
isn't it? It's very patient.
Patience, it's frustrating for fans, but it is what it is. That's how the club works.
Do you know what? I actually appreciate it, because it's it's all about sustainability. It's all about not doing, let's say, the likes of Leicester, the likes of Southampton. We've mentioned it loads of times in the past where people have gone, oh, you're going to go down the Southampton route, you're going to go down the Leicester route, and I think the reason why we haven't is because of how well Tony Bloom has managed it. I love that. But then, like you say, Ryan, at the same time, as a fan, you still
not everyone thinks that way.
Exactly.
Not a lot of fans do think that.
And also, naturally, you do want to keep pushing the boundaries. You want to keep, spending money and competing with the because unfortunately, the top 6, unless you compete with them financially, you're screwed, right? So I completely get both sides of the argument. And then That's probably where De Zerbi was probably very much in that camp, and Bloom was very much in that camp.
I think De Zerbi sees football as a fan like us. I really feel like that's, I think, why he was so loved by us, is because he was one of us. He is a fan before anything else. And I think the way that he wanted to run the club, as excited and as great as it is and passionate as it is, sometimes you need to take that step back, and you need to, zoom out a little bit. And it is frustrating because I'm a fan, but I see it as well. And it's a really torn situation, because I'm like, I agree with the notion of ambition and going for it, and sometimes just spend that 30, 40, 50 million. But other times I'm like, but it's got us this far. We're growing every year. Is it that bad? I don't know. If the next appointment is really bad, then fair enough. But until that happens, I guess we can't actually slate the club yet, can we?
Yeah, that's true. Penny for thoughts of the cigarette shop that De Zerbi buys the cigarettes from, because they're going to be...
He wants to live here, doesn't he, still? He's staying in Brighton, isn't he, apparently?
Is he?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he wants to stay around for a bit. He's quite happy with the freedom.
Well, if he's going to keep it, fine.
Although I put some money, if I was a gambling man, not that I am, not that I endorse it. If you're 18 plus, please, gamble restrictions apply. But if I was a gambling man, mate, I would be looking at Nottingham Forest. I'm just a thought. I don't know, but their owner's rich.
What?
They've got a mad fan base. I could see it. I could see it. Them or Milan, I reckon. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's nothing.
You're just saying that because you go to Nottingham quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's because Nuno announced he wants to leave today. But no, I think they would let him have the money, and they're also one of the richest clubs in the league, and they need to get rid of Nuno to push on. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like De Zerbi will want to aim high. He's very...
It's a step down, 100%.
His ego would not do that. I'm very certain now he goes buying. I think that... I can't see...
No, buying it off. Buying's off.
Yeah, buying's off.
Oh.
Look at your face. Yeah, it got announced yesterday. Yeah.
He said in the press after
I wasn't alive
that he doesn't have another
so
club. He said there's no other club involved. He said it's not about this. No head's been turned.
Yeah. Oh no, I do get that. But what do you reckon it is then? Milan.
Well, no. Apparently, I think he's going to have a break.
Milan or Forest.
Milan or Forest. Yeah. No, I think apparently he's going to have a break, and then he's going to assess like what clubs are available, basically. But yeah, Bayern's off the table now.
Jesus.
He said he wants to do 4 or 5 months in Brighton. He wants to stay around. He loves us. He said he kept emphasising. He said it on the pitch as well, didn't he? How much he loves Brighton. He said it's such a great city, and he said it's a strange city. He said, "Am I allowed to say that?" He said, "But it's a great city."
It is great.
But he said that he just loves it, and I completely get it. I agree with it.
100%.
I love
Have you
Brighton.
been to Seagulls? Why would you move anywhere else? Seagulls is literally the best place on earth.
There you go.
No, do you know what? Genuinely, if I wasn't from Brighton, I would love to go. Like, for me,
if I had the money that he has as well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You'd love it there. It is an incredible... Listen, we're an incredible city. We've got a thriving football club, and I think any manager would be lucky.
Look at Graham.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Graham Potter's still lingering about somewhere. I'm pretty sure I saw him.
Mate, he had. I was just about to stop whatever it is, but yeah, that's going to be so funny. They're both now living in Brighton. All of our ex-managers now are just going to be in Brighton, just never leave.
I don't even blame
It's an amazing place. Yeah,
it is great.
It's an amazing place to live. So
De Zerbi's got a penthouse somewhere in Brighton City, overlooking the club. He's the king of the castle at the moment, so why would you leave? But
and he's loved. Why ruin it?
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to get any appeal. He's not going to get like rotten veg thrown at him like Graham Potter might do when he's walking along the seafront. But yeah. I guess, De Zerbi, thank you very much for everything. We'll probably talk about you a lot more in future podcasts because we probably will end up missing you so much more if it does go to shit.
So much.
Yeah, it's going to be horrendous. But
just quickly, boys, quickly. Give your number one memory under De Zerbi. Go on. What's your most favourite memory under De Zerbi? Shall I start? I'll start.
Yeah.
For me, it's got to be that João Pedro goal in Europa League. I think for me... I know that's not technically, but under his tenure,
under his tenure,
under his tenure, my favourite moment, it had to be that João Pedro goal. Jumping in the crowd, it was an incredible night at the Amex. I'll never forget that night. I suppose
I've got two. One because it's personal for me, and I've said it before because of my family, Man United fans. It's like witnessing them absolutely spank Man United multiple occasions under Zerbi, fantastic. And then, but I just think for what it meant. And it has to be the Chelsea game, spanking Chelsea, Graham Potter returning, De Zerbi's passion running on the touchline and running to the fans. I'm pretty sure he was hugging the fans as well with the goals. he got it. He was over celebrating to piss Chelsea off, and it worked beautifully. So I think can't thank him enough for the memories
And then he gave
allowing
up
us to go.
the other day. But
Yeah. Obviously, he's been talking the past 4 months, but we won't talk about that. It's fine.
Forget
about
it.
that. Forget about it. But yeah, he took us to Europe and gave us memories that will last a lifetime if you can remember those nights out in Amsterdam and Marseille and stuff like that. But yeah, it's incredible. Ryan, what about you?
I've got two. Obviously, the Chelsea moments and the Man United moments and the last minutes and the celebrations. It's just been he's just been a breath of fresh air in terms of how much passion he has. Forest away, but I think I have to do it as a personal note, like Ben did. And when he spoke to me, just me, and pulled me aside, and just said to me about my career and about me, you know, he watched some of my stuff and said that, you know, it's really good, and he was really genuinely wanting me to do well, and so was Enrico. That just blew my mind completely.
Yeah,
so I think that personally for me was just proved what sort of a person he is, to speak to the 23-year-old that doesn't say anything, that's in the corner really, to come up to me and say that. I was like, you didn't need to do that in front of everyone. So thank you, Roberto. That's what I say.
No, fair play.
Yeah, it just does show how class the bloke is, and yeah, you will be sorely missed, mate. It's a shame it didn't work out, but again, we have faith in Bloom. He's made the right decision.
That's one thing. Sorry, just before we get on to next matches, that's one thing I do want to just emphasise, and I know we're all thinking it and we all believe it, but genuinely, I'm so confident in Tony Bloom, and I've said it to so many people now that I've spoken to. They've all said to me, like, "Oh, you know, are you worried about who's next?" Blah blah. Genuinely, every move Tony Bloom has made so far, touch wood, has always been the best, like the right move. So I fully trust in Tony Bloom, Paul Barber, everyone at the top of the football club. They've done so well for us so far. They haven't put a foot wrong, pretty much. Maybe, you know, one little step here or there, but pretty much fully they've never put
signed the card. Yeah, to be fair.
That's correct. And Elvis Manu as well. But aside from a little hiccups, they've been brilliant. And I've got full faith that we're going to get a great manager next.
Well, let's get on to the great managers next, because we're linked with some absolute belters. I'm casting my mind back. That was sarcasm. I'm casting my mind back to when Potter left and we done this, and I just remember having a mental. What do you say, Russell Martin? His second favourite. I had a mental breakdown when we were going through the names, and someone mentioned Phil Neville, and I was like, really? Phil Neville. But I'm not going to lie, boys.
That's outrageous.
After the nearly 2 years it's still not looking that great, to be honest. Doesn't fit. We're the top two basically are championship managers, albeit one has just got promoted, still championship manager in my eyes at the moment. Russell Martin might get promoted with Southampton against Leeds, but you know, Leeds are a very good team, as much as I hate to say it. So yeah, Kieran McKenna's favourite. I can't see him leaving Ipswich. I think that would be quite a mad decision to leave Ipswich after getting promoted. That would be I don't know,
I think with him, he's got an incredible story, by the way. Like the fact he got them promoted from League One, then pretty much is it back to back?
Yeah, back to back. Yeah, first since Southampton when we got promoted with them in from the League One to Championship.
That's insane. Yeah, Alan Pardew.
No.
Yeah, it was
Alan Pardew
with the glasses. Atkins.
Atkins. Yeah, try to keep up whatever said.
Yeah, Nigel Atkins. That's it. Yeah,
they keep up with us, maybe.
Yeah, with the first time, since him, fair play. Like to go from League One back to back Championship, that's an incredible feat. So he's obviously a very talented manager. However, it doesn't inspire me. If you would say, right, McKenna's in tomorrow, I wouldn't be like, oh yes, get in there. You know, up the boys. We're gonna improve from our sixth place position last season. He just doesn't inspire me in the same way as. Do you know what it is? I think it's something about the international flair. Do you know what I mean? Like a De Zerbi, or like an Amorim, or someone, you know, from a foreign league. I don't know. It just gives me that little bit extra.
That olive skin gives me more confidence that they're a good manager.
Spiky hair, man. I want you.
Literally. I'm literally the opposite of the what they call BNP, whatever they're called. Britain First. I'm literally the opposite.
UKIP.
I want UKIP. I want the opposite of that. I want these foreigners to come into the country and manage my great football club.
Jesus.
So political, man.
Get the Italians with spiky hairs on the boats. Get them over.
Oh,
Come
mate,
on.
yeah. Who's the regen? Who's that regen? The one who spikes his hair as well?
Yeah, well, I'm
Farioli.
going to get onto him. Farioli.
Oh,
That's
Farioli,
his
yeah.
name, yeah. So,
Can
yeah,
I just
Kieran McKenna,
interrupt you,
mental.
boys?
Please.
I've just seen something on Twitter, just because I wanted to just check in case there's breaking news.
He's not leaving.
Streaming. No, unfortunately not. Pascal Gross is being discussed. I don't know who this is. I think it's Sky. Yeah, it's Sky. It's being discussed at Borussia Dortmund.
Classic.
They're looking for a new.
So we lose to
midfielder.
Zerbi
Gross is
and
the topic.
Pascal Gross.
No talks yet.
The wheels are falling off. The wheels.
I just wanted to tell you that, just to really.
Cheers,
Meltdown
Ryan.
again.
Cheers, Ryan.
Meltdown.
I just wanted to
Appreciate that,
add
mate.
to everyone's upset,
great.
states that we're currently in. But yeah, no, sorry.
Should we just sack it off and go support Crawley?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, promote it now.
They're doing
Just
well.
jump on the bandwagon.
Let's do a Worthing podcast. Let's do that.
Worthing.
Yeah.
Great.
I've always loved the
Up to
Rebels.
Worthing. Yeah,
Jay
so,
Sarah.
Get Danny Cashman as a special guest every week. That'd be great.
yeah, get Nicky Wheeler. Get Nicky Wheeler in.
Ollie
And,
Pearce
we'll
if he's
be-
still there, but he probably won't be. Sorry, Worthing. You will get your own podcast soon. I imagine there probably is one, to be fair. They are a class team, no disrespect. Love them. But yeah, let's move on. So Russell Martin, Brighton lad, don't correct me if I'm wrong, he has the Russell Martin Foundation in Brighton, locally in Sussex. So I'm guessing he's a local lad.
He's a season ticket holder. He used to be when he was younger.
Oh, did he?
Brighton.
Love that.
Big Brighton fan.
It's a similar kind of thing with Kieran McKenna. I feel like surely we can aim higher than Championship managers. I don't know. And again, it's similar to Potter with the Kieran McKenna thing. Like we're now used to the passionate De Zerbi. The De Zerbi to Potter to De Zerbi. No, De Zerbi to Potter. Sorry, was mental change in character and personality. So if you get in McKenna or Russell Martin, I feel like they're a lot more reserved. And as a fan, you do want that person on the touchline that's passionate and sharing the same emotion as you. But I guess you can't. Yeah, they're kind of one in a million especially when they're good managers as well. So maybe Francesco Farioli, right? So the Nice manager. They finished
He
fifth
literally
in the
looks
Liga.
like De Zerbi. It's actually scary.
Regen for sure.
Yeah, he's literally a regen. Yeah.
His
But
spiky
just
hair. Oh, gone.
Sorry, just quickly on the point you made about McKenna and Russell Martin in terms of their backgrounds and maybe
Calibre.
operating at their caliber and obviously operating at a lower level. Obviously, Graham Potter was operating at a pretty low level before he joined us, and he turned out to be pretty good. So
Yeah, but we were at a low level as well, lower level.
but we're still a Premier League side. We were still it's not like he came into.
Yeah, but
a
we
championship
just survived. We just survived.
team. Yeah,
Might as well have been a championship team. Jesus Christ, the players we had.
Granted. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that he came as a bit of an unknown quantity. He not exactly the most proven manager, and then he turned out pretty good. So I suppose you could use that argument for McKenna. Obviously, McKenna's I suppose he's proven himself, and so has Martin. In aspects as well. But I feel like maybe to just disregard them because they're at a lower level, I think it's a bit unfair. But at the same time, I would like someone with a bit of flair and a bit of character because I did enjoy that under De Zerbi.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, Palace, who for crying out loud they finished above us. I cannot believe it. That pissed me off more than anything. I was fuming.
I'm not gonna be honest.
They got
I would
Glasner,
have
and he's
cared
an
about
incredible
it
manager.
if it wasn't for everything. Like I would have cared if it wasn't for all the De Zerbi stuff, and now I'm like, don't really bother me because I was just too emotionally into that, if you know what I mean. Rather than
for me, it
worrying
just
about
like
Palace.
made it worse. It was just like
It was the cherry on the cake. It was the cherry on the cake.
Oh, mate, do you
okay,
see the day, though? McAllister scored. I know we all like Alexis, but it's still just a bit annoying, isn't it? Caicedo scored from the halfway line, and Kudu's got an overhead kick against City.
Yeah.
and Palace won 5-0.
Yeah, Palace won 5-0, went above us. And De Zerbi left. It's just like an FU to Brighton day, wasn't it, sort of thing?
It was.
And we lost to
actually,
Man United. A shocking Man United team who had their
Yeah,
worst ever
who haven't
Premier
beaten
League
us in Prem for like years.
Yeah,
It's just,
I know. It's a shame. But yeah, sorry, going back to the spiky head guy, he managed to lead them up to 5th place in Liga.
Spiky
5 points, won 15, drew 10, and lost 9. Doesn't really mean much to me. I'm not really good with numbers, but I don't know. I don't really know too much about
Did
him.
he win more than he lost, Ben? That could be a good start.
That is good maths, yeah. That is, yeah, he did. 6. He won 6 more games than
They
lost,
got Europa
actually.
League, didn't they, with Nice?
Yeah.
I think
Which is
to bring it
Nice
onto a bit of a
achievement.
serious note. My cousin, to be fair to him, actually told me about him because he said he knew about him a little bit. He said he's a bit like De Zerbi, but quite defensive. Like, as in, cares about defence probably a little bit more than... he's very attacking, don't get me wrong, but he's better with his defence.
Okay, that's all right then.
He's attacking, but better. Like, he cares about defence. He's 35
Zerbi,
as
but
well.
with less gel, maybe.
Yeah. He's sort of like De Zerbi, but he's got like a more expensive hair gel sort of thing, and
Fair.
he's a bit younger.
Get him in.
But he does look so much like him. It's actually scary.
Yes, it's quite scary.
But yeah, Farioli looks interesting. But I think that it's in Ajax want him as well, and they were quite advanced at one point, at least according to the reports. So whether we are actually going to hijack
Italian
that,
at
I don't
Ajax
know.
just seems mental to me. I feel like that'd be. Yeah, I don't know. Can't
He,
see it.
yeah, but he gives me Ajax vibes. To be fair, I mean they've got a very loud atmosphere in there. Imagine him sort of wearing that
true.
on. I don't know if he celebrates much. All I really care about now, my scout reports on managers, is just purely going to be how they celebrate on the touchline, because I think that's just what we've got accustomed to now.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one. Oh, go on.
Go on. I was just going to say, I know this is a massive shout, and it's never going to happen. But Amorim,
Yeah, he's my dream.
He's now obviously he's not gone to Liverpool. I know he loves Sporting, and I believe they just won the league this season as well with them. So obviously they'll be playing Champions League football.
Gyökeres, come home, my friend.
Yeah, bring Gyökeres and Amorim, and we are flying. But yeah, I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. I don't think Amorim's probably...
The trouble is with Amorim is he would want, I think, if I'm right in saying, he would want a lot of control again, like De Zerbi with transfers. Like, don't get me wrong, his track record of growing players is good, but I think the reason why it fell apart, at least if you believe reports I've read, which may not be the most accurate, I don't know, with West Ham and Liverpool, was because of a similar sort of thing. He wanted that control, and they wouldn't give it to him.
Well, didn't he price himself out as well? He wanted like 5
Did
million.
he?
Yeah, apparently he wanted
I didn't
5
even
million,
know. Yeah, so I just can't see
it.
Brighton. That doesn't seem Brighton to me.
Yeah,
Well, apparently,
As much as
I
I
heard that he tried to try and speed up the Liverpool deal. He like kind of said, "Oh, West Ham want me," and then West Ham didn't actually want him, and Liverpool went, "Oh, you go West Ham then," and then he left himself with nothing. Apparently, that's what I heard, which is quite a stupid thing from him. But
Yeah.
let's go back to the list. Fourth favourite, the return of Graham Potter. Anyone? Any takers?
I'd hand my season ticket in.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I just season ticket in this club.
I've seen a few people saying they take Potter back. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. The way he left, I thought was poor. He wasn't actually that amazing. He was great. Like, he was good. I'm not saying he was shit or anything like that. But he wasn't as good as he wasn't. No, but he wasn't as good. No, but he wasn't as good as I think people make out. Like the neutrals. Well, you know, there was times. What was it? 15 games you couldn't win a game.
Yeah,
like
horrendous spell.
Do you know what I mean? And also as well, look, he was a good manager. I'm not saying he wasn't.
Yeah, look what he built. He changed us from the Houghton horrendous championship team to where we got.
That was
built the foundations for the Zerbi as well.
Yeah, Potter's biggest thing was the foundations he built it, because and to be fair, I think this was someone at the club. I wouldn't say it was, but this is someone at the club that said it. And that to be fair to Graham, which us fans probably don't give enough credit for, was that he, as you say, Ben, took the likes of, not to discredit, Knocker, Duffy, that drink thing that we had, didn't we, with Dale Stevens, and there was a bit of a
culture.
The drink culture at the club, and he got rid of that to become progressive. He basically got rid of about 20 players, if you were to take into consideration how much they were worth, and all of these players in the youth academy that also went, and we basically changed the whole club upside down. And what he did whilst doing that was reinvented them, stopped them from doing so many things, played different football to where we've never seen before at Brighton, apart from under Gus. And it was one of them where, to be fair, did a fantastic job. But saying that, no chance we'll have him back. Thank you for what you did back then, but I don't forget what you did recently.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. It's the way he left. What was it? We just beaten Leicester 4-1.
5-2.
Sorry, 5-2, sorry. 5-2. We just beaten Leicester 5-2. We were fourth in the table, I think, at that point. And he's seen a massive wad of cash. And look, again, granted, Chelsea...
Got tapped up through Kukurea, I reckon. My conspiracy.
Well, I just thought the whole manner of it was just poor. I didn't appreciate it, and also some of his comments as well. Like, remember after the Leeds game when he said that we need to learn our history and all that kind of stuff. It was just like little things like that. I'm like, mate, just chill out and don't come back.
Yeah, and then he started wearing a suit, got his beard trim and a decent haircut for Champions League nights, and thinking, why couldn't you have looked that good for Brighton on our touchline? Why didn't you care?
Don't matter so much.
I don't know. I respect him, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching De Zerbi football over Graham Potter football. The amount of goals we were scoring at that beginning when it started to click under De Zerbi was insane.
The thing is with Potter that was good was he was very good at defensively. We didn't concede many, did we? if I remember
Yeah.
rightly.
But then there was times when we didn't score enough because our XG
We
was
didn't score.
Oh yeah, our
through the roof.
scoring was horrendous.
Such
Our
imbalance,
XG,
isn't it?
Do you remember that XG period where we just had like outrageous XG, but we just couldn't score?
So we need Farioli, is what we're saying. He can do it.
yeah. He's the mix of both. So
Yeah.
get him in.
I'm going to rattle through some more names and then move on to the next bit. So Rob Edwards from Luton just got relegated. Vincent Company.
Right.
Stop me when I say
Selfie merchant.
Mention it, but yeah, selfie merchant. Yeah, we would get a lot more fans though on the female side.
A lot of female fans. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of female fans filling up the seats at the Amex. And then Vincent Company just got relegated with Burnley. Liam Rosina, unfortunately,
Season ticket
sacked.
handed in.
Yeah. Knutson, the guy from Bodo Glimt. Remember we were linked with him? He was my number one when after Potter left. I think I was really keen to get him in because, I mean, the manager market then was rubbish and it's still rubbish now.
Nutman won't leave, I don't think.
Nah, I think he's there for life now, isn't he? He's just one of the Copenhagen culture guys. He's not actually that good, but people love him. Paulo Fonseca, Paulo Fonseca, who led Lille to 4th in Ligue 1.
Interesting.
I love saying Ligue 1 as if I know football. And then Ruben Amorim, I know we just spoke about him, but yeah, he's my absolute number one. I'd adore that. I don't know if De Zerbi, I don't know if Tony Bloom will go for him simply just because of what his character, his character seems to be.
Wait until
off.
there's some random name that you've never
that's
heard
the
of
thing.
before. It's just going to happen, isn't it?
Star Lizard has just uncovered someone.
Yeah.
Someone in like the Argentinian
McKenna
third division.
Smokescreen is working a treat as far as Tony's concerned.
When we done this for when Potter left and we were rattling through the names, I swear we didn't even mention De Zerbi or like. No, he wasn't even on the list.
Till
for
late.
Sky Bet.
Postecoglou was in there back then. If you remember.
Postecoglou
He was.
there, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So yeah, Fonseca. Will Still, I think he's going Sunderland. Steve Cooper, Carlos Corberán, the West Ham guy. Hansi Flick, that'd be quite cool. But I don't know. If he's
Steve
super
Cooper. Did you
Yes,
say
Steve Cooper's season ticket is burned.
Yeah.
Currently
That
burned.
is a red
Who is
card.
this bloke? Someone called Pellegrino Matazzaro. Never heard of you in my life. What do you do, mate?
He's the one. That's who's coming.
I was just saying.
He's the manager.
That's our next manager.
It's him.
Yeah.
Well done, Ben. You've worked
no.
out who it is.
He's American.
Yeah.
Oh,
He calls it soccer.
He's the manager of Hoffenheim. Yeah.
Okay.
That would. You know what?
That's quite
For
cool.
some reason, I could see Brighton having an American manager. It just
Jesse Marsh
tells me that.
2.0.
Thomas
Come-
Frank,
come
bit
to
of a
us.
sideways step. Can't see that.
American tour as well. Then we can go Japan, America, and
Yeah.
we'll be laughing, mate.
We're already,
Shirt sales
yeah,
will be alright.
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Michael Carrick, probably, if you told me that a year ago when he was doing well, maybe, but not now. Sebastian Hoeneß, is he related to Souness, maybe? Let me have a look. Is that a Greek
That is
Graham?
cutting
Cutting
Oh,
edge
that-
analysis from
That is
Seagulls
actually,
Social.
that is actually the worst joke I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, actually.
Sorry.
And you've said some terrible ones.
So yeah, Stuttgart manager. Thiago Motta probably won't leave because he's got Bologna in the Champions League after like 8,000 years. So
that's
fair
huge.
play to him. Gareth Southgate, wow, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Season ticket. Not looking great.
Ticket
Oh wow! Marcelo Gallardo, Adam Lallana's 50-1, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 50-1, Roberto Martinez,
Season ticket.
Inzaghi,
mate. Oh my god.
and finally,
Roberto Martinez.
yeah.
I thought you retired in 2013 at Wigan.
No, he's at Belgium, don't he? And then, he's gone
Yeah,
to
I know.
Portugal from Belgium, hasn't he?
Yeah,
And
he
then
went
finally
somewhere
Brendan Rodgers. So it's
Yeah,
not
well,
good.
on that note, it's been an
Inspiring, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ryan,
Star
who's
Lizard.
your number one? Who would you love?
Oh, the thing is, I don't want to get into this because I don't know, and when you read the names off, I just think of it logically. I'm like, would that happen? Probably not. The only one that annoyingly seemed, well, I say annoyingly, I don't want to discredit McKenna because he's done a fantastic job at Ipswich, but it's the only one to me that makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I don't want us to be the ones like Chelsea are to us to Ipswich, but you know we could have a Murray Hutchinson as well. But I look at his record. It's very, very, very good. It's very, very Brighton. Plays good football, but does rely on luck a lot. A lot of last minute winners in there. A lot of them were deflected as well, if you remember rightly from the Ipswich season. I don't know, but he's the only one to me that seems more Brighton. And I can't remember what journalist it was that said that there was one club that McKenna would have his head turned to, and it is us, purely based on the fact that Ipswich are trying to replicate Brighton. If you found an Athletic article from a couple of years ago, and if you're trying to replicate Brighton, why wouldn't you just come to Brighton? But I don't know. But I mean, if I was looking at it on an Ipswich fan point of view, like I would as a Brighton fan looking at Chelsea, I would say you've just got us promoted. Why would you leave us now? That's snaky as it comes. So,
Are you a bit underwhelmed
Double-edged
about
sword.
the list and people that we're linked with?
A little bit, because I look at De Zerbi's caliber, and but
And the potential of the club as well. The players we got, surely you're thinking.
But McKenna's still he is probably the most upcoming manager in this country. He's like the Thiago Motta of England, isn't he? Or the Xabi Alonso of England. So, if you think about it that way, it's like, okay, well, you've got a manager that, okay, he's only 38 now, but think about the amount of years. He's got another 5 years on De Zerbi. But, do you want to take it's a big project, a big risk. But that's what Bloom does best, I suppose.
It's a good time to have a new manager, I guess. You don't have loads of competitions to worry about. Like if we did qualify for Europe again, like he's got whoever does take over has got a fairly unbelievable squad. If we're fully fit,
looking at him a bit, and he's very De Zerbi. He's Italian. He's got spiky hair. He runs along touchline, but also how I read about him did look quite good. 4-3-3, interestingly, very FIFA 14 that is. But yeah, I don't know. Until there's a proper link, it's hard, isn't it? Companies also mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think at this stage it's very much sort of hearsay and odds. People linking, managers to. When it comes to any club, like whoever's available is like, yeah, they're linked, and it's like, who actually knows? Like you said, Ben, last time no one was talking about De Zerbi at the beginning, and then he came out of left field and he was then our manager. So yeah, who knows? But I just hope, like I said earlier, I believe in Bloom. He'll pick the right guy.
Yeah, we'll get something.
To steer us. But yeah, on that point, Ben, actually, I think that's a good point. Actually, yeah, the fact that the manager's going to come in with a pretty much a complete squad from, as in no one. There's not going to be major outgoing. I doubt maybe
Pascal's
one or two.
actually a one that I wasn't worried about. But now that you've said that, Ryan, I kind of just Pascal. I think this is the perfect time to go. De Zerbi's just left.
I wanted them to say goodbye though.
Yeah,
it is a good time to leave. If you're a player, because I read a report as well that apparently there's not going to be a mass exodus, but apparently there's a few players that really like De Zerbi, and the fact that he's not there anymore might, in turn make them then leave. But I don't know how true those reports are. And again, people just like to, especially when a manager's left, they like to print anything to get clicks. So you don't know what's being said is reported is true. But I did read a report that a few players want to leave as a result of De Zerbi leaving, but. Yeah, I'll take it with a pinch of salt, and we'll see what happens.
Anything else, boys, that we want to talk about? The game. I'll quickly say about the game. I can't believe we didn't score, which is mental. Can't believe we lost to that shambles of a club in the fashion we did. Like the ball over the top to Diogo Dalot just seemed very, very Route 1 and simple. We conceded from it. Hoyland scored with his weak foot after dribbling through 3 players. I don't think he dribbled past that many players in one match. In his Man United career.
He didn't even have to really dribble, did he? Just run in a straight line, and then it was like football in easy mode, wasn't it?
Yeah,
let's be honest though. Let's be honest. No Dunk, no Van Hecker.
But it was De Zerbi's last game. Surely they were going to a little bit of passion to play.
No, I know. But you got to remember,
we
were missing like 12 players. It's like
players.
I'm not blaming. And that as well. And it's just like It's a shame. It's a shame because you want to finish the season strong and give a bit of hope to the fans and the players going into next season. But look, for the last month, we've not really had much to shout about. Let's be honest. So
that's actually
it's a shame.
That's a bit of a worry you've reminded me of. It's like how down all the players going to be now. Suddenly, it's not like they maybe saw this coming. It's just very sudden for them as well.
He said he told them on the Saturday. Really? They made the decision. They made the decision on Friday. He told the club, told the players in person at lunchtime on Saturday, and then it got released in the media at 3:30 that Saturday, and Sunday was the game. So it all happened in 3 days. So I can imagine it was a bit of a shock. It's a shock enough for us fans, right? So media, imagine the players.
Sad times. I just hope the players aren't deflated, because I imagine.
I saw Bruno Fernandes in the tunnel, by the way, looking for Caro Mitoma's shirt. It was a very, very
Mitoma's shirt.
He was like, I've been looking for you everywhere.
Who's going to tell him?
He wants to sell it. He wants to sell it.
He was looking for the bigger player, but it was just quite funny.
It just shows how much
looking for one that turns
like,
up in big games.
Mitoma hasn't played for fucking ages. Anyway, if he did know ball knowledge, he would have asked for Pascal Gross's shirt. I guess if there's nothing else to say, Zerbi, we absolutely loved you. Thank you for all the unbelievable memories, because I can't see another manager doing that for us for a while. And
staff as well. The attachment to Madeira,
the staff,
the attachment to Rico.
Our number one fan.
Every single
number one fan. Our number one fan is.
They loved everyone. They're great.
Yeah, the staff were all really emotional on the pitch, weren't they? That was a tough watch. And Matt Stelling, if you're watching, the emotion that you showed, that put a lump in my throat as well. He was on the big screen. I think I was on Brighton's YouTube video as well, like the clapping and the biting his lip, like his lip trembling. Just thought, wow,
yeah,
that is special. So yeah, shout out to Matt. I think there were a lot of choked up necks at the Amex that day. I imagine
certainly was.
Must have been an emotional one. And I'm glad I didn't go, for the reason that I was in a bad way. I probably would have had a mental breakdown if I did go there. So, yeah. You guys want to say anything to Zerbi, because he will be listening?
Zerbi, listen here, mate. No, joke. No.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Screw you. No, he was special, man. He was such a passionate manager. I loved the way he conducted himself. Well, sometimes, people would say he was over the top. He was too much, but I actually loved it. I thought he encapsulated what football's all about, the passion, that love for the game. He was just, as a person, you could tell he cares so much. And, even I read yesterday as well that he said he's going to, keep improving. He wants to be at the top of his game. He's going to study the game when he's off. He's going to have time off now, but he's still going to be learning the game. 100
cigarettes as well, I think he said.
Yeah, having 100 cigarettes whilst reading a football tactico book, probably. One cigarette and a book in the other hand, and he's going to be reading his tactico books. But no, it just shows he's such a driven and ambitious person, and I'm sure he's going to smash it wherever he goes next. And
Forest.
He's special manager. He created a special team as well. I think we can't understate that as well. He created something really special at Brighton, especially last season. Last season was special, man. It was such a magical season for us all. So, and he was a big conductor in that. So yeah, big shout out to you, man. And respect, peace, love. Enjoy your journey, and maybe we meet again in the future.
I wrote that. That would be quite cool. And Brian?
Yeah, shame. Really sad. Pretty much echo what you guys have said, really, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to get more confident, speak to media in the way I did and the way that you helped me do. Walked into the room trembling as a very young, naive 20-year-old, and I really appreciate everything that you did. If you are listening, you're probably not, but no. And as well on the pitch, just unbelievable memories. Didn't think it would happen so quickly, as suddenly, but it is what it is, and I'm sure that everything that happens afterwards will be great. And look, you can't contain a genius, that's for sure. If they've got an idea in their head, they will tell you, and they won't be able to change their mind, and no one can. But look, if that's what the heart says, that's what they've got to do, and that's what it is. So all the best, Roberto. We'll see you, I'm sure, very soon. And I might even see you around Brighton, just walking around, I'm sure, probably around Seafront, reflecting on the last 2 years, probably with a fag in hand as well. But yeah, Roberto.
Yeah, I can't wait to share a cigarette with him outside Match Time. That'd be great. Shame that an unbelievable season, really. Like a historic season has ended this way, but it is what it is. That is football, and we will move on, and hopefully we'll have another historic season soon in Europe under an incredible manager that we love and adore, because that is very rare, and we've been so lucky we've been very privileged over the past few years for what we've witnessed on the pitch. So, and that's down to Tony Bloom as well and his team. So thank you, Tony, for the memories as well. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, or maybe a week or so. We'll do like a proper end of season awards. It feels weird doing awards, like when a team does really shite, they cancel the awards dinner. Yeah. Should we do that?
Yeah, just do it memories instead.
Best player. Which loss was your favourite?
if we had like similar to Arsenal, win the dog, we could have done like best dog award. But unfortunately, we don't even have a dog. Brighton,
let's get a dog.
Yeah, let's get a dog called Lose.
Yeah, fuck it. Hopefully, Kieran McKenna is a pet person. Maybe get like a cat or something. Yeah, that'd be great. All right. On that note, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you to Zerbi for a great time. Peace.